You've been told a lie, a dangerous lie, that some women are of no importance, that your voice doesn't matter, that your contributions don't count, that who you are simply doesn't matter. I'm here to shatter that lie once and for all. The truth, there is no such thing as a woman of no importance. No woman, no matter where she comes from, no matter the challenges she faces, is ever insignificant. We are all woven into the fabric of this world, intricately and purposefully. And if you've ever felt like you didn't matter, like your voice wasn't heard, or that your work was invisible, today I want to remind you of 3 undeniable truths. Asterisk, asterisk, your worth is not measured by society's standards, asterisk, asterisk. There is a narrative we've been fed for generations, one that tells us our worth is contingent upon meeting the standards set by others. We are constantly told that we must look a certain way, act a certain way, and achieve certain things to be deemed valuable. The idea of enoughness is often dictated by societal expectations, and when we don't fit into that narrow mold, we're led to believe that we fall short. We look at others who seem to have it all together, the perfectly curated lives on social media, the seemingly flawless careers, the ideal relationships, and we measure ourselves against them. We see their achievements, their beauty, their success, and we start to wonder if we will ever measure up. And if we don't, we wonder if that makes us less. But this couldn't be further from the truth. You are not here to live up to anyone's idea of what matters. Your worth does not lie in how well you meet these external standards. In fact, those standards are arbitrary and limited. What society tells us is important. Beauty, wealth, fame, popularity are fleeting measures that rarely reflect what truly makes a person valuable. Your worth is not something that can be weighed on a scale, nor is it something that can be quantified in comparison to someone else's life. It is not measured by the number of followers you have, the title on your business card, or the awards on your shelf. Your worth is intrinsic, built into you from the moment you were born. It is woven into the very core of your being. You have value simply by existing. Just by being you, you are enough. The pressure to conform to external standards often leads to a disconnection from our true selves. We spend so much time chasing after an image of what we think we should be. We forget to honor who we truly are. In doing so, we begin to lose sight of our own worth, placing our value in the hands of others. But the real question is, why should someone else determine your worth? Why should you give anyone that power? The only person who gets to decide your value is you. You are the author of your own story. You are the one who gets to define who you are and what you stand for. No one else has the right to diminish you. No one else has the right to tell you that you are anything less than extraordinary. When we let go of the need to live up to society's standards, we create space for the most authentic version of ourselves to emerge. Instead of striving to fit into a mold that was never designed for us, we begin to embrace our uniqueness. We allow ourselves to be fully human, flawed, messy, imperfect, but also resilient, strong, and powerful. We give ourselves permission to shine in ways that feel true to us, not because someone else told us that we should. This is where true freedom lies, in embracing who we are without apology or shame. And when we do that, something incredible happens. We stop chasing validation from the outside world, and instead, we start validating ourselves from within. True worth doesn't come from achieving the next milestone or hitting the next goal. It comes from the deep understanding that you are valuable, no matter where you are in your journey. Whether you're in a season of growth or a season of struggle, whether you've achieved your dreams or are still working towards them, your worth remains unchanged. It is not tied to any one achievement, title, or accomplishment. You do not have to prove yourself to anyone. Your worth is already established. You are worthy because you are alive. You are worthy because you show up every single day. You are worthy because you matter, just as you are. This is where the power of self-acceptance comes in. When we stop measuring ourselves against external standards, we are free to accept ourselves as we are. This isn't about perfection. It's not about pretending to have it all together. It's about giving ourselves grace. It's about saying, I am enough, even in my imperfections. I am worthy, even on the days I feel like I'm falling short. It's about finding peace in the present moment, rather than constantly chasing an idealized version of the future. Your worth isn't conditional. It doesn't depend on anything outside of you. It exists in your soul, in your heart, in your very essence. We often spend so much time looking outside of ourselves for validation, but the truth is that the only validation we need is internal. The real question is not whether others recognize your worth, but whether you recognize it yourself. Do you believe deep down that you are worthy? Do you know that your life has meaning, regardless of the opinions of others? Do you understand that your value is not determined by anything external, but by the love you give, the resilience you show, and the courage you carry in your heart? This is the foundation of self-worth. It is the ability to say, I am worthy, no matter what the world thinks. I am enough just as I am. And when we embody this truth, everything changes. We stop looking for external validation, and we start creating the life that reflects our deepest values. So, the next time you find yourself questioning your worth, remember this: you are not defined by anyone's standards but your own. You are not less because you don't fit the mold that others have created for you. You are not unworthy because you haven't met society's expectations. Your worth is unshakable. It is infinite. It is yours, and it always has been. You are worthy, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Always have been, always will be. There's a silence that often surrounds us, one that we've been conditioned to accept. For too long, women have been told that their opinions, their ideas, and their voices don't matter. We've been socialized to speak less, to hold back, to dim our light for fear of being too much. But this silence is not just a personal struggle, it's a societal problem. Because when we hold back, we don't just diminish ourselves, we diminish the collective power of women everywhere. The truth is, your voice is not just valuable, it's absolutely necessary. The world needs what you have to say, and it's time to stop shrinking and start speaking up. We live in a world that too often rewards quiet compliance and conformity. We are taught that speaking out makes us difficult, that being bold makes us unlikable. We've seen it time and time again. Women who speak their truth and are met with backlash, who stand firm and are labeled aggressive or emotional. But let me tell you something, this narrative is a lie. The discomfort that others feel when a woman speaks with authority is a reflection of their own biases, not a reflection of your worth. When you speak up, when you claim your space, you are not just exercising your right to be heard. You are creating a ripple effect. You are showing others, particularly young women, that their voices matter too. You are creating a world where we no longer need to apologize for existing, for taking up space, for having opinions. Every time you stay silent, you deny the world something important. Your voice has the power to spark change, to create connection, to shift perspectives. It is through the sharing of our stories, our experiences, and our truths that we build empathy and understanding. When we remain silent, we prevent others from hearing the very thing that could change their lives. Your experience is not just yours. It is part of the collective experience of womanhood. And when you speak out, you are offering a piece of yourself that could resonate with someone else in a way that helps them feel seen, heard, and understood. Your words have the power to transform the lives of those who hear them, but they can only do that if you speak them. The importance of your voice goes beyond just the words you say. It is about the courage it takes to be vulnerable, to share the parts of yourself that are raw and real. When you speak from a place of authenticity, when you share your truth without fear of judgment, you invite others to do the same, and in doing so, you create a space where everyone's voice becomes necessary. Your voice isn't just a tool for self-expression. It's a beacon for others to find their own strength. When you claim your voice, you show others that they too can claim theirs. You show them that it is possible to be heard, to be valued, to be seen. Your voice is the key that unlocks doors for other women, and when you use it, you give others the permission to do the same, But here's the truth, speaking up is not always easy. It takes courage to go against the grain, to push past the internalized messages that tell us we don't belong at the table. It takes strength to speak when the world would prefer us to stay quiet. It takes a fierce determination to break through the silence that has been imposed upon us. But this is where your power lies. Your voice is not just an accessory to your existence. It is an integral part of who you are. It is a reflection of your inner strength, your intelligence, and your passion. When you speak, you affirm your own worth. And when you do this, you remind others that their voice is valuable too. We also have to recognize the profound impact that silence can have on our communities. When women remain silent, we allow the narrative to be shaped by others who do not have our best interests at heart. We give space for misinformation, for lies, and for the perpetuation of harmful stereotypes. The silence of one woman creates a void that others may fill with false narratives. But when we speak up, we take control of the narrative, we rewrite the story, we shift the conversation from one that excludes us to one that amplifies our voices. By using our voices, we become architects of change. We become agents of disruption, challenging the status quo and demanding that our experiences, our perspectives, and our truths are heard. The world may tell you that your voice is not needed, that it's too loud or too opinionated, but do not buy into that lie. You are not here to remain quiet. You are not here to fit into someone else's idea of what it means to be a woman. You are here to speak your truth, to claim your space, and to make an impact. Your voice is powerful beyond measure. It has the ability to bring about transformation, to inspire others, and to shift the very fabric of society. When you speak, you make the world better, not just for yourself, but for all women. Your voice is necessary because it is uniquely yours. No one else can say what you can say, from your perspective, in the way that you can say it. The truth is simple. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait until you're qualified or worthy to speak up. You are qualified right now. You are worthy right now. And the world needs to hear you right now. Your words are not just for you. They are for everyone who needs to hear them. Every time you step into your power, every time you find the courage to use your voice, you create a future where women no longer have to hide, no longer have to be silent, no longer have to apologize for taking up space. Your voice is not just worth hearing, it is necessary for creating the world we all deserve. Asterisk asterisk, your impact doesn't have to be grand to be meaningful asterisk asterisk. We live in a world that often values grand gestures over the quiet, everyday acts that truly define us. We're taught to measure our success by the size of our achievements, by the attention we receive, and by the recognition we earn. But here's the truth. The most meaningful impact doesn't always come from doing something huge. It often comes from doing the small, sometimes unnoticed things that quietly shape the world around us. The impact you make doesn't need to be measured by the applause of the masses or the spotlight of public recognition. It can be just as powerful, if not more, when it starts in the quieter, more intimate spaces of our lives. We often look at those who are celebrated for their accomplishments, leaders, innovators, celebrities, and we think that their impact is the only kind that matters. We compare our own lives to theirs and find ourselves lacking. But here's a reality check. The world doesn't need everyone to be a superstar. It needs people who show up every day, who do the work, who care deeply and quietly, who love unconditionally, who lift others up, and who stand for what is right, even when no one is looking. Your impact, no matter how small it may seem in the moment, is creating ripples that will be felt long after you're gone. The kindness you show today might change someone's life tomorrow. The words of encouragement you offer may be the spark someone needs to keep going. The time you invest in a friend, a family member, or a colleague might be the anchor they need to navigate their toughest storm. It's easy to get lost in the idea that unless we're making a big splash, we're not making any real difference. But think about the small moments in your life when someone's actions impacted you deeply, when a friend took the time to listen, when a colleague shared a word of encouragement, when someone made you feel seen or understood. These small, personal moments don't make the headlines, but they often have the most profound effect. The impact of these everyday acts is immeasurable because it doesn't fade with time. It doesn't require constant acknowledgement or validation. The person who quietly made a difference in your life probably never knew the extent of the impact they had, but their actions changed you in ways you might never be able to fully articulate. In a world that constantly celebrates the loud and the obvious, it's easy to forget that your quiet, persistent efforts are just as important. Perhaps you don't have a stage, a platform, or an audience, but that doesn't mean your influence is any less significant. Your daily acts of love, kindness, and service may not make the news, but they are building a foundation of trust, connection, and community that will last. The truth is, most of the time, the world doesn't see the work that goes on behind the scenes. It doesn't see the late nights, the hard decisions, the sacrifices made in silence. But these are the moments that define the real impact we have. These are the moments that truly shape the world. We need to shift our focus from the idea that impact must be grandiose in order to be valuable. The simple acts, the small moments of connection, of generosity, of vulnerability, are what ultimately build the world we want to live in. Think of a mother who nurtures her children, a teacher who encourages her students, a neighbor who offers help when it's needed most. These acts may seem small in isolation, but when you multiply them across the millions of people who are also doing small acts of kindness and love, the effect is nothing short of transformative. It's in the sum of these small, intentional actions that true change occurs. It's in the quiet persistence of people showing up day after day with a commitment to do good, even if no one is watching. The truth is that your impact doesn't need to be recognized by others for it to be valid. You don't need to wait for a stage to speak, for a microphone to amplify your voice, or for a platform to share your thoughts. The impact you make, even in the smallest of actions, is enough. The act of being present, of showing up for others, of doing what you can with what you have, is powerful beyond measure. Your impact doesn't depend on how many people see it. It depends on how it changes the people it touches. And the truth is, even one person whose life you touch can change the world in ways you may never understand. We often fail to see the power in the small moments because we're too focused on the big picture. We think that we need to do something monumental to make a difference, but in reality, the small, everyday actions compound over time to create a profound effect. It's like planting seeds. You may never see the full growth of what you plant, but you can be certain that every seed has the potential to become something great. Every conversation, every moment of connection, every gesture of kindness is a seed that, when nurtured, grows into something meaningful. And even if you never see the final result, the impact of those seeds will continue to grow long after you've planted them. Ultimately, the world needs more people who are willing to show up, day in and day out, without needing validation or recognition. It needs people who are willing to make a difference in the lives of others, even if that difference is small. It needs people who understand that the impact we make is not about grandeur or fame. It's about love, kindness, and human connection. You don't need to change the world in one sweeping motion. You don't need to do something extraordinary to be extraordinary. Your worth and your impact are already written in the everyday moments of your life, in the way you show up for the people around you, and in those quiet, small acts, you are changing the world more than you may ever realize. For too long, women have been told to sit down, to shrink themselves, to accept that their value lies in how they fit into a prescribed role or expectation. From childhood, we're taught that our worth is measured by our compliance, by how well we blend into society's idea of what a woman should be. We are told that we must be pleasing, quiet, gentle, and humble to make everyone else comfortable while we stifle our true selves. This message has been ingrained in us, reinforced at every turn by the media, by family dynamics, by the societal structures that are built to keep us small. But let me tell you this, it's time to stand up. It's time to take back your worth. The world is desperate for the fullness of who you are, and it's time to stop apologizing for it. The first step to taking back your worth is realizing that you have always been worthy. You were never less than enough. You were never meant to shrink yourself in order to fit into someone else's narrative of who you should be. Your worth is not determined by your appearance, your achievements, or the validation you receive from others. It is inherent in you, woven into your very existence. Whether or not the world sees it, your worth is unshakable. It's time to stop letting external expectations dictate how you see yourself. Your worth is something that comes from within. You are worthy because you are alive. You are worthy because you bring something to the world that no one else can. This isn't about arrogance or self-absorption. It's about reclaiming your truth. Too often, we are made to feel guilty for owning our worth, for claiming the space that is rightfully ours. We are told that to be confident or assertive is to be selfish or ungrateful, that it's better to stay humble and small. But the real humility lies in owning your value. The real humility is in recognizing that you are deserving of every opportunity, every chance, every moment that comes your way. When you stand in your worth, you honor who you are and all that you have to offer. It is not arrogance to say, "I am worthy." It is a declaration of truth. One of the biggest hurdles to standing in our worth is the fear of being rejected or judged. So many of us have internalized the belief that if we step into our full power, if we own our worth, we will be criticized, shut down, or even ostracized. But let me tell you, this fear is a lie. The world is not out to get you for being yourself. It's simply a reflection of how deeply we have been conditioned to apologize for existing authentically. When you take a stand for your worth, you are doing something revolutionary. You are challenging the status quo that tells you to stay quiet, to stay small, to stay invisible. And in doing so, you create space for other women to do the same. You give them permission to rise up and claim their worth too. The more we stand together, the more power we have. Standing up and taking back our worth also means letting go of the people and situations that reinforce our unworthiness. There will always be voices that try to diminish us, that will try to convince us that we are not enough or that we have to change in order to be worthy. But here's the truth. Those voices don't define you. The people who seek to bring you down do so because they are threatened by your power, by your confidence, and by your ability to stand tall in your own skin. You don't need to carry their judgment with you. You don't need to hold on to relationships or situations that drain your sense of worth. Let go of what no longer serves you. Embrace what nurtures your soul and lifts you higher. The people and environments that truly value you will be the ones that support you as you rise, as you reclaim your worth. We also have to recognize that taking back our worth isn't just about personal empowerment. It's a collective movement. When one woman rises, she creates space for all women to rise. The strength of one woman taking back her worth is the spark that can light a fire in others. By standing firm in your own value, you challenge everyone around you to do the same. Your self-acceptance and your courage will inspire the people you come into contact with. The ripple effect of you owning your worth doesn't just impact your life. It impacts your community, your workplace, and even the world at large. When you take a stand for yourself, you are creating a ripple that will reverberate through generations. You are teaching others, especially young women, that their worth is never to be questioned. Taking back your worth is also about setting boundaries. For far too long, we have been conditioned to be people pleasers, to say yes when we want to say no, to give when we are drained, to put everyone else's needs before our own. But standing in your worth requires you to honor your own needs, your own boundaries, and your own voice. It means saying no to things that don't serve you, to relationships that drain you, and to situations that ask you to shrink. It's about recognizing that your time, your energy, and your presence are precious, and you are allowed to protect them. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's necessary. It is a powerful way of saying, I value myself, and I will not allow anyone or anything to diminish my worth. Finally, standing up and taking back your worth means embracing your imperfections. Too often, we are made to feel that in order to be worthy, we have to be perfect. We're told that we need to have it all together, that we need to be flawless in our appearance, our careers, our relationships, and our personal lives. But the truth is, perfection is a myth. We are all beautifully imperfect, and that imperfection is what makes us whole. Your flaws, your mistakes, your struggles, they don't diminish your worth. They are part of the beautiful tapestry of who you are. Standing in your worth means embracing the full, unfiltered version of yourself. It means accepting that you don't have to be perfect to be powerful, worthy, and enough. Your worth is inherent in your humanity, in your authenticity, and in the love and courage you bring to the world every single day. We often find ourselves navigating a world that tries to impose its path upon us, the expectations, the standards, the pressures. Society hands us a script telling us who we should be, where we should go, and what we should achieve. From a young age, we're conditioned to follow these prescribed routes, to measure our success by someone else's metrics. But here's the most profound truth you can understand. Your path is yours and yours alone. No one else can walk it for you, and no one else can tell you what success looks like for you. The power of choosing your own path lies in the freedom it offers. The freedom to carve out a life that aligns with your deepest desires, your true self, and your unique journey. It's time to stop looking for permission to follow your heart and start living in a way that is authentic to who you are. The first step in choosing your own path is understanding that the societal pressure to conform is not a reflection of your truth. So many of us are taught that success looks like a linear climb. Graduate high school, go to college, get the job, settle down, and so on. But what happens when that path doesn't fit us? What happens when we don't feel fulfilled in those prescribed steps, or when we find ourselves on a journey that feels misaligned with who we are? The truth is, life doesn't follow a linear script. Our journeys are meant to be messy, complicated, and full of surprises. It's in embracing the chaos, the detours, and the unexpected that we truly find our way. Choosing your own path means letting go of the idea that there's only one way to live and realizing that the beauty of life lies in the twists and turns that make it uniquely yours. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, especially in the age of social media, where we see the curated lives of others, the milestones they reach, the success they flaunt. We measure ourselves against their journeys, often feeling inadequate because ours doesn't look the same. But here's the reality: the journey of others does not diminish your own. The truth is, comparison is one of the greatest thieves of joy. When we compare our lives to others, we forget to honor our own. We lose sight of the unique path we are on, the lessons we're learning, and the growth we're experiencing. Your journey does not have to look like anyone else's. The only thing that matters is that it's true to you, that it aligns with your values, and that it takes you toward the life you want to create. The power in choosing your own path also lies in the courage it takes to step off the well-worn road. It's not easy to go against the grain, to challenge the norms, to make decisions that others might not understand. But it's precisely this courage that will allow you to live a life that is fully your own. The world may tell you that you need to follow a certain formula to be successful, but what if the real key to success is listening to yourself and trusting your instincts? When you choose your own path, you're giving yourself the opportunity to step into your own power, to embrace your inner wisdom, and to trust that you have everything you need to create a life that feels fulfilling and authentic. Choosing your own path also requires the ability to let go of expectations, both the ones others place on you and the ones you place on yourself. So often, we hold ourselves hostage to a set of expectations about what our lives should look like, and when we fall short of these expectations, we feel like failures. But the truth is, life is unpredictable, and you are not a failure for not meeting someone else's vision of success. Your path may look different than what you imagined at one point, but that doesn't mean it's any less valuable. In fact, the most beautiful parts of our lives often come from the unexpected, from the moments we never could have planned for. It's in the unknown that we find our greatest potential. Letting go of rigid expectations and embracing the fluidity of your path allows you to find joy in the journey, not just in the destination. Sometimes, choosing your own path also means making sacrifices. It means walking away from things, relationships, or opportunities that no longer align with who you are or where you want to go. This can be one of the hardest aspects of carving your own way, saying goodbye to the comfort of what is familiar, even if it no longer serves you. But in order to truly live authentically, you must be willing to let go of what is no longer right for you. It takes courage to walk away from things that once seemed important, but it also takes wisdom to understand that this space must be cleared in order for something greater to enter. The sacrifices you make on your journey are not losses. They are necessary steps that allow you to move forward and step into the life you are meant to lead. Choosing your own path also involves finding the balance between independence and connection. While it's important to trust yourself and your instincts, it's also important to recognize the value of community and support. No one achieves greatness alone, and the path you choose may sometimes require the encouragement and wisdom of others. However, this support should not define your path or alter your course. The beauty of choosing your own path is knowing when to lean on others for guidance while staying true to your inner compass. It's about finding the harmony between standing firm in your own beliefs and remaining open to learning from the experiences of others. This balance allows you to stay grounded while also embracing the growth and transformation that comes from connection. Lastly, choosing your own path is a lifelong journey. It's not about finding the perfect destination. It's about continually evolving, learning, and growing. Your path may change direction many times throughout your life, and that's not a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. Embrace the changes, the new opportunities, the challenges that come along the way. Every step you take on this journey, whether forward or backward, is part of the larger story of who you are becoming. Trust that each step is moving you closer to the life that aligns with your true self. Choosing your own path is about giving yourself permission to evolve, to change course, and to live a life that reflects who you truly are at every stage of your journey. It's not about the final destination. It's about the person you become as you walk your unique path. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness in a world that prioritizes strength, independence, and control. We're taught that to be strong means to hide our emotions, to not show our fears, and to stand tall with unshakable confidence. But here's the truth: vulnerability is not weakness. It is one of the greatest sources of strength we possess. It is in our vulnerability that we find our deepest courage, our most authentic selves, and the power to truly connect with others. The willingness to be vulnerable is not a sign of fragility. It is a testament to our resilience, our ability to stand in our truth, and our courage to face the unknown. It's time to redefine what it means to be strong and recognize the profound strength that comes from allowing ourselves to be seen in our raw, unfiltered humanity. The strength in vulnerability lies in our ability to show up as we are, without masks or pretenses. It means allowing ourselves to be fully human, to admit that we don't have all the answers, and to embrace the uncertainties and imperfections that make us real. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, We are no longer hiding behind a facade of perfection or self-sufficiency. Instead, we are standing in our truth, saying, "This is me with all my flaws, all my doubts, and all my imperfections." It is in this act of honesty, of showing up as our authentic selves, that we tap into a deep well of strength. There is no greater power than the power to be completely ourselves, to be unapologetically vulnerable in a world that asks us to conform. Vulnerability is also the gateway to connection. When we open ourselves up to others, we create the space for genuine, deep connections to form. It is through our vulnerability that we invite others to do the same. When we allow ourselves to be seen, to share our struggles and fears, we create a safe space for others to do the same. In this space, true intimacy is formed, not just with others, but also with ourselves. Vulnerability allows us to break down the walls that separate us from others, to move beyond surface-level interactions, and to form bonds that are rooted in honesty and authenticity. The connections we form through vulnerability are the ones that endure, the ones that nourish our souls and make us feel truly understood. For many, the fear of vulnerability stems from the belief that we will be judged or rejected for showing our true selves. This fear is real and understandable, but it is also based on a misconception. When we hide behind walls, when we present a version of ourselves that isn't true, we are only isolating ourselves. We are not giving others the opportunity to love us for who we truly are. It's only when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable that we give others the chance to see us fully, to love us for all that we are, not just the parts that are easy to love, but the parts that are messy, broken, and imperfect. Vulnerability opens the door to compassion, both for ourselves and for others. It allows us to see that we are not alone in our struggles, that we are all navigating life's challenges together, each in our own way. Vulnerability also has the power to heal. So many of us carry wounds, emotional scars that we keep hidden from the world. We've been hurt, betrayed, or rejected, and we've learned to protect ourselves by building walls around our hearts. But these walls only keep us from healing. It is in our vulnerability that we allow ourselves to feel the pain, to process the emotions that we've been avoiding. When we can open ourselves up to our hurt, we begin to heal. Vulnerability allows us to confront our pain, to face it head on, and to move through it rather than running from it. It is through this process of vulnerability that we begin to understand our own strength. We realize that we are capable of surviving our deepest wounds and emerging stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. In embracing vulnerability, we also learn the power of self-compassion. Vulnerability means being kind to ourselves when we fall short, when we make mistakes, or when we feel unworthy. It's about recognizing that we are human and that it's okay to not have everything figured out. Too often, we are our own harshest critics, expecting perfection and punishing ourselves when we don't meet those standards. But vulnerability allows us to soften, to forgive ourselves, and to acknowledge that it's okay to be imperfect. It's through vulnerability that we can accept ourselves fully, without judgment, without shame. This self-compassion is not a sign of weakness. It is a powerful act of courage, a recognition that we are worthy of love and care, no matter what. Lastly, vulnerability is the key to personal growth. It is only by stepping into our vulnerability that we allow ourselves to learn, to stretch beyond our comfort zones, and to grow. Every time we take the risk to be vulnerable, we are opening ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new opportunities. Vulnerability allows us to embrace change, to step into the unknown with courage, and to trust that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. It is through vulnerability that we tap into our potential, that we push past our fears and limitations, and that we become the best versions of ourselves. The more we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, the more we discover just how strong and resilient we truly are. The power of vulnerability cannot be underestimated. It is not something to be feared or avoided. It is something to be embraced. Vulnerability is the key to living a fully authentic life, to forming deep connections, to healing our wounds, and to growing into the person we are meant to be. It is through our vulnerability that we discover our true strength, a strength that comes not from perfection or control, but from the courage to show up as we are. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It is the foundation of everything that makes us truly powerful. So, the next time you feel that fear creeping in, the next time you feel the urge to hide or shrink, remember this. Your vulnerability is not a liability, it is your greatest strength. It is the very thing that connects you to your deepest truth, to the people around you, and to the world at large. In embracing your vulnerability, you unlock the door to living a life of authenticity, courage, and profound connection. Stand in it, own it, because the world needs you, all of you. Perfect, messy, and beautifully vulnerable. Your vulnerability is your power, and when you embrace it, you not only change your own life, you change the lives of everyone you touch.